Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Agent Compare. Today we're going to compare Moscow versus London versus Paris versus Berlin versus Istanbul. Hope you enjoy this city comparison. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more educational videos in the future, and comment your ideas about the videos too. So let's get into the video. Moscow is in Russia, London in UK, France in Paris, Berlin in Germany and Istanbul in Turkey. Russian is the common language of Moscow, English in London, French in France, German in Berlin and Turkish in Istanbul. Moscow established in 1147, London in 43 AD, Paris in 259 BC, Berlin in 1237, and Istanbul in 330 AD. Istanbul is the largest city among these 5 cities, and the area of Istanbul is 5,343 km². Population of Moscow is 12 million, 9 million in London, 2 million in Paris, 3 million in Berlin, and 15 million in Istanbul. Population density of Moscow is 4,752 per square kilometer, 5,757 in London, 21,000 in Paris, 4,227 in Berlin, and 2,919 in Istanbul. GDP nominal of London is higher than the GDP nominal of Moscow, Paris, Berlin and Istanbul. GDP per capita nominal of London is higher than the GDP per capita nominal of Moscow, Paris, Berlin and Istanbul. GDP PPP of London is $1.06 trillion, and it's higher than the GDP PPP of other 4 cities. GDP per capita PPP of London is higher than the GDP per capita PPP of other 4 cities. Global GDP nominal rank of Moscow is 16, 4 in London, 5 in Paris, 51 in Berlin, and 50 in Istanbul. Global GDP PPP rank of Moscow is 8, 5 in London, 6 in Paris, 48 in Berlin, and 11 in Istanbul. Global GDP annual growth from 2005 to 2020 of Moscow is 4%, 3% in London, 2% in Paris, 1.1% in Berlin, and 5.2% in Istanbul. Let's compare the population growth of Moscow, London, Paris, Berlin and Istanbul from 1850 to 2022. All these cities have more females than males. There are 53 billionaires in Moscow, 66 in London, 44 in Paris, 20 in Berlin, and 24 in Istanbul. Vladimir Putin is the richest in Moscow, Len Blavatnik in London, Bernard Arnault in Paris, Beat Heister in Berlin, and Murat Ulker in Istanbul. Luzhniki is the largest stadium in Moscow, Wembley in London, Parc des in Paris, Olympia in Berlin, and Ataturk Olympic in Istanbul. Federation Towers are the tallest building in Moscow, the Shard in London, Tour First in Paris, Berliner Fernsehturm in Berlin, and Metropole Istanbul in Istanbul. Russian ruble is the currency of Moscow, pound sterling in London, euro in both Paris and Berlin, and Turkish lira in Istanbul. HDI of all these cities are very high. Christianity dominates in both London and Paris, Euroreligion in Berlin, Islam in Istanbul and Orthodoxy in Moscow. Largest ethnic group of Moscow is Russian, white in both London and Paris, European in Berlin and Turks in Istanbul. Let's compare the age structure of Moscow, London, Paris, Berlin and Istanbul.